It's what now? Questions rise in the depth of night. Stories unfold where the heartbeats blend. A new page turns, but where's the end? What now, what now? The people say. Voices echo, we pave the way. Real talk, real love, no filters here. What now, we make it clear. Yeah, the silence speaks and the rhythm knows. What now, every tale we tell, the energy grows. Jazz in the soul and the truth in view. Old school style, but the lens feels new. What now, the people say.
My name is Pat Griffin. I'm the Executive Director of Against Abuse Incorporated. We are a private nonprofit agency headquartered in Casa Grande, but we serve all of Pinal County and actually the state of Arizona. We've been providing domestic violence and sexual assault prevention, intervention, and education programming for over 40 years.
Welcome back to What Now? We're having a great conversation with my co-hosts here, Chrystal and Tori Anderson, the co-chair of Seeds of Change Gala and Against Abuse. We were discussing her shelter a little bit here in Maricopa, and so I had a question for you about community involvement. I know that's so vital to keeping the shelter going. How have you seen that in Maricopa, and what are some ways that our community can get involved?
Great question. So community involvement is what keeps us alive. As a nonprofit, we do thrive off of people who are willing to donate their time, whether they come in and teach a cooking class or teach a garden class, come and help build, clean the property. We've got some businesses that will come in and help paint to keep the inside of the shelter clean and presentable. It's a beautiful building, and so thousands of families have gone through it, and it's been amazing, but it does take, it's wear and tear when you've got a lot of people coming and going. Little hands on doorways that, need to be repainted. But as far as other community, the way they can get involved, first of all, supporting the Seeds of Change Gala, which is where we raise the funds to keep the shelter open. But they can also, donate non-perishable food items. They can also donate full-size toiletries, because we go through those very quickly, because every family that comes in, we give them and provide them with their own toiletries, standard-sized pillows and pillowcases, because when they transition out of shelter, out of crisis, we send their bedding and their pillows with them. So wherever they go, they've got bedding, which is, a lot of times they don't have that, because they come in with nothing. It's usually a grocery bag with something. So those are always go through pretty quickly, the toiletries, towels and sheets, twin-size sheets, we go through quite a bit. When they transition out, we send them, if we have them, if they're full or queen-size sheets, if they've got those size beds. So those things are always used and gone through pretty quickly. For those that want to donate it, we don't take donations directly at the shelter, but they can certainly email me, and I can make arrangements to pick them up. That makes it easy, and that's TORRILANDERSON@gmail.com. And that way I can pick them up, or I can send one of the other Gala committee members to pick them up, because we too like to keep the location secure. So it's not, right now we're not taking clothing because we have a lot of that and we don't have storage. But as far as the inside would be food items, toiletries, bedding, towels, Legos for the kids.
Legos for the kids.
Or coloring books.
Okay.
Even the adult coloring books, it's good therapy for the, for the women, the mothers, to be able to just calm down. So those things, things that children would use, tabletop games, that sort of thing, playground equipment, bicycles if they want to donate bicycles, because we do have a big lot that the kids can ride their bicycles on. So, any of that is welcome anytime, but email me so I can make arrangements to get it. If they're in Casa Grande and they want to drop it off at the Casa Grande office, they can do that as well. We just don't allow drop-offs at the shelters. So, hopefully that's helpful.
That's really, really helpful information. And I know once you have the Seeds of Change Gala, you can raise sometimes $70,000 upwards.
150.
150,000. Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And once you guys receive that funding, what do you use that, or what services? What services do you offer the families
Once they're come into
yeah.
our shelter. First of all, if the families are safe at home, they don't need to come into shelter unless they want to. So it really is not, you have to be in shelter to get services. We have outreach. We have advocates that are in our community that will go and meet with the families and provide them the same services that they would receive if they were in shelter. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, because we do keep it very secure for our families, right? But it's not necessarily you have to be in shelter to receive these services. We actually, you know, when I did Christmas this last year, we had like 50 families that we were servicing that were at home or at a friend's home. And so, because they were safe, and so they didn't feel the need to come into shelter. But we still provide them lay legal advocacy, if they're, whatever it is their needs are, we meet their needs. So we are a trauma-informed agency. And so what that means is we meet the client, the member, the family, where they're at, and we sit down and talk with them and just find out, what is it you want? What is it you need? Where do you want to go? Sometimes they just want to go to family out of state and just completely relocate. We will help facilitate that. So that is what some of the money goes to, is providing those services that is different for every family.
Wow.
So we have a wheelhouse of sister agencies that we can call in other states. We're part of the national network. We have attorneys and lawyers that will, I guess attorney and lawyer is the same thing, but they will provide legal advice. They will help file documents. They will do whatever, we will do whatever the client needs. So it's not like a rubber stamp, you come in and you've got to check these boxes.
Right.
It's, what do you need? Where do you want to be in 30 days?
Thanks for breaking that down. I had no idea, and I've known about the Seeds of Change Gala and your organization. I had no idea that it extended to the external services as well.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Beautiful. It's so customizable.
It is customizable because everybody's an individual.
That's right.
And so everybody's raised with a different understanding of what they need. We have different cultures, we have different ethnicities, so we meet them where their need is.
Right.
So it's not about, here's what we say you need to do. That's not what we are about. We are about, what do you need?
And have you seen too, as like a, I guess when you're reaching out to people so externally and being so customizable, maybe some people are establishing trust that way with you guys, and then might eventually be in shelter if maybe they didn't want to. You know, they might be too fearful to just completely step out. So that might be that little helping hand. So I think that's really beautiful.
Well, we have a crisis line which runs 24/7, and it's what we call a live crisis line, which means when they call, they talk to a live person. And that number is 520-836-0858. They can call anytime because it really does take a mother or a father calling at least a dozen times before they actually decide to make a change. It's hard, it's scary, you have a low self-esteem, you don't think you can think on your own. So it really is important that they call the line and they get to talk to somebody, even in the middle of the night, because sometimes just talking to somebody will help alleviate some of that pressure, but it also starts a to-do list. What do I need to do when I'm ready to leave? So it's important that you're building trust over time, because a lot of times you don't know what you want. You don't know what you need.
That's right.
You know, and you don't know you need it until you need it, and then you're in panic mode.
I love your heart.
You know, it's
for that.
I mean, I've gotten phone calls in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Tori, what do I do?
Yeah.
And that's okay, because then I refer to the crisis line. But it's scary.
Yeah.
You're frightened, and your self-esteem is so low.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That we want to bring back that dignity.
I like that.
You know, we want them to be empowered.
Yeah.
What is it you need? You know, they may have never been asked that.
And I'm hoping some of our listeners and viewers today can get behind this program. It's so important and vital to the city of Maricopa. And also, you do have a volunteer staff that helps with the Seeds of Change Gala.
Correct.
Can people volunteer to help you? For the next one's going to be at Harrah's, right?
Correct.
And if they want to volunteer to help put things together, how should they?
Well, they can email me
Okay.
at Tori L. Anderson gmail.com. We have actually been planning the October event since January. So we have our first meeting in November after the event, and we talk about what worked, what didn't work, and then we take a couple months off, and then we come back and start planning. So, but yeah, they can email me and get involved. Maybe they want to donate. Maybe they want to buy tickets. Maybe, this year is our Christmas theme, so maybe they want to decorate a Christmas tree and donate it for our live auction.
Tell us a little bit about that theme. What are the colors? What are you going to be auctioning off? What could we?
So October 18th, 2025, it's at Harrah's. The theme is An Enchanted Christmas. And so our live auction is Christmas trees that have been decorated by businesses or families, and we auction them off. And then they're delivered to the person's house, fully decorated, but it's a great opportunity to be able to give back. We have a silent auction item. Maybe there's businesses that want to donate a silent auction item and get some advertising out of that. All of it stays here, so it's all good. But, mostly attend the event. Buy a ticket, which will go on sale next month at seedsofchangegala.org. So, all the money stays here, and I hope to sell out again. We've sold out every year we've done it. So, it's always fun to bring the community together.
It's a great experience. Myself, I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, and I'm hoping that more people will get involved and just give. Even if they can't come, just
Correct.
give. Because it's for a good cause, and we never know when it's our turn, when we're going to be on the end where we need.
Right.
You just never know.
You just don't know. Or your neighbor can
Your
be.
neighbor.
But now you know, you have the number where you can call here.
Sure.
So absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to What Now?
Abuse isn't always physical. It can creep in through humiliation, constant criticism, or sarcasm that cuts deep. When your feelings are dismissed or you're blamed for their actions, that's not love, it's control. Remember, you deserve safety, respect, and peace. If you're feeling trapped, know that you're not alone. In Arizona, you can reach out to Against Abuse, Inc. Call 520-836-0858 or visit againstabuse.org. Take that step towards freedom and healing.
Welcome back to What Now? I'm your host, Shannon Welch, and my co-host here, Chrystal Ojon. Our amazing guest today, Tori Anderson. We're having such an amazing conversation about the organization that she has here in Maricopa. And while we were on the break, we had discussed a couple things that I would love to share with you guys. So, Tori, can you go a little into how your organization provides exclusivity for all cultures, all genders, and more specifically how men are suffering in these abusive situations as well, and how you guys can support them as well?
Sure. So I know we were talking about what growing pains have you had. Part of it is we have seen an increase in fathers who are now speaking up. And we do provide, a lot of people are confused by that, but we provide services for everybody. Male, female, the LGBTQ community. It really, you're an individual, and abuse is abuse. And so we provide services for anybody who will come in and say, I need help. I've got this situation, help me out. And that's where they can call the crisis line. But we do provide, we've seen an increase in fathers who speak up, and so we provide them the same services. We do put them up in a hotel, so they have a hotel room with them and their children, because the shelters are for the women and their children. And so we are respectful of the fact that you need help, we're going to provide it. And we're going to give you your dignity, and we're going to respect that. So really, and as far as culture, we work with all the churches, all the faiths. So if a client comes in and says, I really want to talk to a pastor, no problem, we can arrange that. We've got a great rapport with all of the churches and the pastors. And so that really does help. Akchin provides their medicine man to come in, and they'll come in and they'll bless the building every once in a while.
Cool.
We are a very culturally aware agency, and so we meet the need of what that client needs.
Right.
So we help to provide that. If they need mental health counseling, we work with several different agencies in Maricopa and Casa Grande. If they need drug counseling, we work with that. So we've got, a whole wheelhouse of partnerships that we can refer our clients to, which we cover the cost of that at some point. So, you're asking, where does the money go? Well, it goes to taking care of our families,
Right.
and providing what they need. But our growing pains are, yes, we're seeing an increase in fathers. And it's,
Do you find that men are being more open to talk about it because of societal changes, or what is your take on that?
I think it's all the above.
Okay.
I think that domestic violence is easier to talk about. And so we're making it a safe place where they can make a phone call and say, look, I need help. We work closely with the police department. Sometimes we'll get referrals from the police department, or they'll hand the phone to the client and say, here, call the shelter and let's get you to safety. So we provide services for any individual that calls and needs help. And I think that's what's important, is we meet them at their level.
Right, meeting people where they are. I love that.
I do too. I think that's amazing, and I love the whole heartfelt theme, or the undercurrent of what you do is so amazing, because I don't see that
No.
everywhere.
No,
It's
it's,
true.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell you care.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
what
love my
means
community.
The most,
You
know
can
what I mean?
you can feel it. It's
Yes,
very,
you
and
feel it.
you take a very holistic approach,
Yes.
which I think is so refreshing.
yes.
The mental, the spiritual, the financial, the education, training,
Whatever
all
they
of
need.
that.
Yeah, whatever they need.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And
And,
that
it
was-
makes a difference.
Yeah, and so that was something we were talking about on the break as well, that you guys provide services for people going through separations when they need to trade
Yes.
off with their children. Could you
Yes.
expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So we call it our Safe Exchange Program,
Okay.
and it's called La Paloma, and it's the facilities in Casa Grande. And usually the judges will, when a family has custody and they need to exchange parents with the children, or it needs to be family reunification, or maybe a parent is being released from prison and they haven't been around their children very much, so we provide both of that. And so it's at La Paloma, and it's got separate rooms made up so that when the families, one parent will come in the front and drop the kids off. We have a security guard, we have advocates that are right there, and then the other parent will come in the back and they will exchange the children that way, so that the two parents don't have to see each other. Because we were seeing an increase in deaths that were happening in parking lots. They think they were safe going to a McDonald's or going to the police station in their parking lot. Well, the police station doesn't always have somebody in the station. So we provided La Paloma where they can come in and have a safe exchange, because it's really about keeping everybody safe. When you see an increase in deaths at the exchange point, that's when it gets pretty frightening.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's the family reunification, where the parent needs to come and spend maybe an hour a week with their children. And so we've got a room set up. There's no TVs, there's no video games, there's board games, and there's arts and crafts. And so we provide healthy snacks, and the parent is able to visit with their children in a safe environment and get to know each other again. So, yeah, so it's just, that connection is what is important.
Right.
And it's about keeping everybody safe. So
Right.
that is another program that we provide, again, at low or no cost, just depends on what their situation is. But we just want everyone to be safe, and receive the services that they need. So, La Paloma has been very successful.
Thank you for bringing this awareness, because I think people, when they know better, they can do better.
Right. Yeah.
And you've just provided us with so much information, and the approach that you guys are taking, the holistic approach, I think is so beautiful. And I hope our viewers definitely would support Seeds of Change Gala. That money is going to serve these families, both male and females, and we want you to support. So if we don't have any other questions, I hope that we can bring you back next year.
Sure.
When you have a next Seeds of Change Gala. Maybe there's some new things that we can talk about. And thank you for viewing today. What now?
Where's the end?
and we'll see you next time.
What now, the people say. Voices echo, we pave the way. Real talk, real love, no filters here. What now, we make it.
No, I would never say she was
Yeah, that was good. You took us out. That's good. That's no problem. Bring us back in.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how I was like, are you doing it? I was like, we can't talk about this.